Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pursuant to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, public notice of this meeting was filed on April 25th, 2020 with the Office of the Secretary of the State of New Jersey and 3 newspapers, the Cherry Hill Courier Post, the New Brunswick Home News Tribune, and the Newark Star Ledger. Pursuant to Public Law 2020, Chapter 11, public notice of the meeting has been posted on the Rutgers website under governing boards. I would like to now ask the members, you've all seen the agenda and the meeting materials. Does anyone have a possible conflict of interest to disclose at this time? I see none. We can continue, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Hundley, Chair of the Camden Board of Directors, over to you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair, thank you. I would like to propose a resolution on the appointment of Antonio D. Tillis as Chancellor of Rutgers, Camden. Whereas on June 16, 2020, Chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden, and Dr. Margaret S. Marsh was appointed to replace her and to serve as the interim chancellor until such a time as a permanent replacement could be found. And whereas a search committee for the Chancellor of Rutgers Camden, consisting of members representing the Rutgers community, was appointed by President Jonathan Holloway and was co-chaired by Dr. Prabhas Mogi, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Distinguished Professor in the School of Engineering at Rutgers University, New Brunswick, and Dr. Jane Siegel, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education within the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, Camden, and Professor of Criminal Justice at Rutgers University, Camden. And whereas the search committee submitted its recommendation to the president, and after careful review and consideration, the president selected Dr. Antonio D. Tillis to be appointed as Chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden. And whereas Antonio D. Tillis is an internationally acclaimed scholar and author with specializations in Latin American and Afro-Latin American and African diaspora literature, and has served in numerous administrative and academic leadership positions at the College of Charleston, Dartmouth College, Purdue University, and most recently as the Dean of the University of Houston's College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences, and interim president of the University of Houston Downtown. And whereas the members of the search committee and President Holloway concluded that Antonio Tillis is uniquely prepared to provide the dynamic leadership that will enable Rutgers University Camden to excel in teaching and research while serving an ever more vital role in the city of Camden and in Southern New Jersey. And whereas on April 27, 2021, the president consulted with the Board of Governors Executive Committee on the matter of selecting the Chancellor of Rutgers University Camden, and after review and discussion of the qualifications of Dr. Tillis to fill this position, the committee concurred with the president's recommendation and agreed to recommend for approval by the Board of Governors the appointment of Antonio D. Tillis to the position of Chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden. Now, therefore, be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Board of Governors Executive Committee, the Board of Governors of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, concurs with the proposed recommendation and approves the appointment of Dr. Antonio D. Tillis as Chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden. And be it further resolved that Dr. Tillis's appointment as Chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden be effective on July 1st, 2020 as Chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden indefinitely, serving at the pleasure of the President. And be it finally resolved that the Board of Governors, on behalf of the entire university community, offers its sincere gratitude to Dr. Margaret Marsh for serving as interim chancellor for Rutgers University, Camden. Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. We have a second. We will hear from two members of the university community who have signed up to speak today. They have undertaken to our secretary that they will speak solely to the merits of Dr. Tillis's appointment and will not use this as an opportunity to address the Board of Governors on other matters. We are very, very grateful for those speakers. Kim, would you call on them, please?
Certainly. First, I'd like to call Dr. James Brown.
Dr. Brown of the English faculty at Camden, you are welcome here. Tell us about your views on Dr. Tillis's appointment, please.
Thanks. Can everybody hear me?
We can.
Okay. Yes, my name is Jim Brown. Thank you for the time today. I am Associate Professor of English and Director of the Digital Studies Center. I'm also President of the Camden chapter of the Rutgers AAUP AFT. The faculty in Camden, as well as the students and staff, are eager to meet and work with Dr. Tillis, the incoming chancellor, especially given the challenges we face as a campus community. My hope is that the incoming chancellor can help us address some long-standing issues with inequity. Part of that will involve addressing issues of course, salary equity that the union negotiated in the last contract, but this is just one part of a larger set of issues. Inequity is a problem felt by all members of the Camden community, and one root of this problem is a budgeting model that puts the Camden campus at a major disadvantage. We believe that this system, which clearly has disparate impacts on smaller campuses, tells us that we are millions of dollars in debt, and this means results that and cuts that harm everyone at Rutgers, Camden, especially students. Students, staff, faculty, and community members in Camden deserve the same resources as those in New Brunswick.
Okay, Dr. Brown, forgive me for interjecting. You are off point here.
Okay, I only have 2 more sentences left, and I'll be finished. My hope is that Dr. Tillis will advocate for the Camden campus and community and the community that it serves by insisting that Rutgers Camden is equitably funded. By advocating in this way, a new chancellor will find a community ready and willing to embrace them. And without this advocacy, we will continue to face systems and policies that fail to put Camden on equal footing. Thank you.
Dr. Brown, thank you very much. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dr. Todd Vachon, I apologize if I said that wrong, postdoctoral associate for the Rutgers School of Management and Labor Relations.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Vachon. Please continue.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and esteemed members of the board. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to appear today. Well, not quite to appear, but to speak in favor of the resolution to appoint Dr. Tillis as Chancellor of Rutgers Camden. Chancellor Tillis and Cabinet will dedicate their time to fulfilling the university's mission of teaching, research, and service. As a postdoctoral associate, I too dedicate considerable amount of time to each of these 3 missions each day. The postdoc community at Rutgers is over 700 in number, scholars, teachers, and researchers from all disciplines, but especially the laboratory sciences. It is our hope that a new chancellor will have an eye and an ear toward the unique needs of this important but often overlooked part of our university community. Many of our postdoc community worked on COVID-related research over the past year, reporting to campus daily, enduring great personal risks, despite the fact that we were and still are working without a contract. It is our hope that the hiring process for this new chancellor and all other top university positions will take into consideration the candidate's experience working with postdocs and their experience working in a unionized setting and dealing with labor relations issues. I'm speaking in support of the resolution because the appointment of Chancellor Tillis is vital to the university's daily operations. But so too is the assurance that our postdoc research community is able to pay their rent and see a doctor when needed. And
Dr. Vachon,
yes, please.
Forgive me for interrupting. You are straying from the point, sir.
Well, the incoming chancellor will be responsible for both charting the university's future and leading the day-to-day operations. So I'm speaking fully in support of Dr. Tillis, and it's my hope that he will begin that tenure with a postdoc community that feels respected and valued, and not one that feels ignored and left to work without raises for over 2 years. So please do appoint a new chancellor but also please take care of the valuable workers that are already here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Vachon. Mr. President, would you speak to us about Dr. Tillis's appointment, please?
Well, I will speak about the process, and then you'll have your vote, or excuse me, before, pardon me one second, I'm sorry. Before we move to introducing Dr. Tillis, I want to thank everybody, first of all, for coming, joining us remotely, virtually on such short notice. I do want to echo the appreciation in the resolution for the work that Margaret Marsh has done this year. She has been an absolute gem and has helped me tremendously as I transitioned into this presidency. So thank you, Margaret. This search was launched in the fall of 2020. It was a large and representative search committee, including faculty, staff, and students, as well as Frank Henley and Bill Tambusi from the Board of Governors. The search committee did extensive outreach, work with the search firm Storbeck Search, and cultivated a very strong pool. After the first round interviews, the committee recommended 3 finalists. I and other Camden and Central leaders met with them. This is an exceptionally strong group of finalists. Any one of them, I think, could have been put forward for this position, but Dr. Antonio Tillis stood out from the rest, and it's for this reason that I recommended him to the board for its approval. And I'm so pleased that the resolution seems to be, at least on the cusp of being welcomed enthusiastically. Thank you.
Discussion from any member of the board? Hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The resolution is passed. Mr. President, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It is now my pleasure, Mr. Chair, if I may, to introduce Antonio Tillis before he's brought in to say a few words. May I?
You may. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As you saw in the resolution just approved, Dr. Tillis is not only an outstanding scholar, but also a talented and experienced leader. Let me highlight a few of his accomplishments. In the academic space, he's a scholar of Latin American literature with an Afro-Hispanic emphasis. He's the author or editor of several books and articles, most recently co-authoring The Afro-Hispanic Reader and Anthology. He has a bachelor's degree in Spanish from Vanderbilt University, a master's in Spanish literature from Howard University, and a doctorate in Latin American literature with an Afro-Hispanic emphasis from the University of Missouri at Columbia. He has had, most recently, academic appointments at University of Houston in endowed chair, MD Anderson Chair. Before that, he was at the College of Charleston, the University of Massachusetts Amherst, Dartmouth University, Purdue University, with visiting scholar appointments in Brazil and the West Indies. He has been a Fulbright scholar in Brazil. He is, importantly, especially for Camden, but in general, a first-generation college student. As a leader, he is currently the interim president of the University of Houston downtown. Prior to that, he was the dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences, the largest such school at the University of Houston. He is the dean of the School of, the dean of the School of Languages, Cultures, and World Affairs at the College of Charleston. In all of these places, he instituted programs that supported student financial aid, research awards, study abroad, and internships. Dr. Tillis believes in service. He is currently on the boards of Habitat for Humanity in Houston, Houston Arts Alliance, and was on the board of the International African American Museum in Charleston, a major new intervention in that institutional space. As other members of the search committee relayed to me, and his people who offered as references relayed to me, this is an individual who is a natural leader. He makes people feel at ease. He is deeply committed to wherever he's been, and certainly at Camden, to being an outward-facing chancellor, engaging the business, civic, and political leaders of the greater Camden community. He is personable, believes in finding ways to bring people of different opinions to a place of resolution, and has exhibited all those kinds of intangible traits that gives me incredible comfort and enthusiasm to have him serve as the next chancellor of Rutgers University, Camden. I'm looking forward to working with him, Dr. Antonio Tillis.
Good afternoon to you all, and thank you, President Holloway, and to Chairman Angelson and members of the Board of Governors for the State University of New Jersey, Rutgers University. I am simply thrilled about this appointment, and I look forward to the move to South Jersey. I'm somewhat familiar with the area. In my professional life, I worked for Merck Sharp and Dohme. Therefore, I spent quite a bit of time in Philly as well as Rahway, New Jersey. As President Holloway stated, I am extremely excited about this opportunity in order to work with the students, to work with faculty, to work with staff and other constituencies at Rutgers University Camden in order to assist and actualizing the priorities that are set by the institution and also set by Rutgers University writ large. Also, besides all of that, I enjoy singing. I tell people all the time I am a lyric baritone in hiding. So I look forward to coming to the area and looking for opportunities where I can balance, have the work-life balance that will keep me centered and also keep me pretty much involved in the greater community in Camden County. I also look forward to working with municipal government. I've gone online, I've seen some of the things that the Mayor Moran has in motion, and I look forward to partnering with Mayor Moran and civic leaders in Camden in order to create opportunities for faculty, for staff, and also for students. So again, I'm very thrilled about this appointment, looking forward to working with President Holloway as we move Rutgers University writ large, specifically Rutgers University Camden, forward. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Dr. Tillis, welcome. It's a pleasure to see you here. It'll be even greater pleasure to see you in person. We are grateful to you for saying yes. And President Holloway, back to you for the last word as always.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you, Dr. Tillis, for your introductory comments. I know there are many more comments to come specifically to the Camden community, and I appreciate your flexibility to, conducting a search for a position like this, or any position during these days, requires a certain level of faith that we can all make this work remotely. And Dr. Tillis has been an exemplar of that. And I know he'll be visiting Camden very soon and starting to make those in-person connections to the extent that that's possible. I also couldn't help but notice, and this is not the reason why I tapped him, he doesn't have to do a wardrobe change. At least Houston's colors are close enough to Pantone 186. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to having you on our collective team and to doing the continuing work that Margaret Marsh has really exemplified of building up Camden. Strength upon strength is the way I'm looking at this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and thank you all. And Dr. Marsh, I so look forward to our conversation. I'm excited to sit with you and to have some conversation.
Excellent. One last shout out to Dr. Marsh. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. Job splendidly well done. With that, we are.
Thank you so much, Mark. And I'm so excited about Dr. Tillis coming, and I can't wait to meet him in person.
Excellent. With that, we are adjourned. God bless everybody. See you soon.